So, all right, so first and foremost, I'm going to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. We say double and apostle, and a great Muslim rule, our teachers, our apostles in truth, and we say salutations, so the accuracy and the push with no truth and sincerity, day in and day in and day out, and constantly in season, or the season is Shalom. And once again, good entire video here, and it's touching upon digital currency. Now, this is one of the biggest things being talked about right now, because majority of these countries, right, or these kingdoms, you know, they literally changing the system to become digital, to become more digital, and we know the part they are headed on to, which is a part of what the MOTB, the mark of the beast, right? And eventually, they would want everyone to have that inside of them. The scriptures mention that they wouldn't be able to buy or sell, right? So it goes to show, how serious it's going to be. Now, with that being said, there's a lot of bills being passed. Now, I did a video um talking about this FISA 702, but while doing the video, I was reading this post by Laura, what's she name, Laura Luma, is she name it? No, Marjorie Taylor Greene, right? So she's a former congresswoman. Now she, like, if you actually read some of her posts, right, she actually is, it's so nonetheless, but certain things that she bring forth, you can decipher and see that she's speaking some truth in the mix of it, right? Because she usually says certain things against what the government put out, and usually she will bring some sort of information against them, right? And one of the things she mentioned here, while talking about the FISA, she said, "Do you want to know how bad it is? The House passed a FISA 702 reauthorization yesterday without warrant requirements by adding a good bill that bans a CBDC central bank digital currency." Now, before I say something, I would like to bring a scripture. Right, this is the book of Ephesians, chapter 5. Verse 15, it says, see then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise. It's a redeeming a time because the days are evil. So it's such an important thing to, as the scripture says, to walk circumspectly. Now, when you look up the word circumspectly, right? I'm gonna just get here quick. I'm going my right. Alright, so when you look up circumspectly, it goes back to the word sorry, circumspectly. See then you work circumspectly. We say exactly, accurately, diligently, right? Diligently. It's a exact, careful. It's a of the strictest sect, the most precious and rigorous in interpreting, right? The Mosaic law and observing even the more minute precepts of the law and tradition. It's a most straightest, right? So it's a exact, careful, and it says diligently, right? So the scripture says, see then that you work circumspectly, diligently, always on the watch. The minutes go on Google, right? Circumspectly. All right, so when you look at the word circumspectly on Google, it says is an adverb meaning to act in a cautious, prudent, and wary manner, carefully considering all circumstances and potential risks before acting. So you always have to be walking circumspect. Because right now, if you blink too hard, you're gonna miss something that's happening. Just like, for example, this. Now, when you read all the bills that is passing, they all basically go back to one thing. Now, it would affect certain other things. Like, for example, Ephesians 7:02 would affect the preaching of the word, but it also goes into the fact that they wouldn't be able to speak out against certain things, and that way it's a requirement by adding a good bill that bans the CBC. It say the House passed Ephesians 7:02 reauthorization yesterday without warrant requirements by adding a good bill that bans CBDC central bank digital currency, right? This is how they try to trick members of Congress, dangle ban on CBDC, but you have to give up warrant requirements for Americans for FISA 702. So it's a give and take. But we already saw that there's a lot of passing of these CBDC all over, right? It's a reason why America is actually pushing for so much of digitalization. It's a reason why they're pushing all these surveillance laws, like, they could spy through a camera. They have it in a law. No, they always could have done it, but now they're more outright. Now there's like, we telling all this is what we do, and you can pass it. Matter of fact, you can do nothing against it because you pass it in the court of law, right? But let me just pause here. Right, so I wanted to go down here. It's the same post, but a little further down. It said the Republican leader in the Senate said there is no chance in hell the GOP-controlled Senate will pass a ban on a central bank digital currency. And that's right, because they are not going to put any ban on digital currency, because that is what it headed down to. Majority of these banks and majority of these places are already telling you, that they're not dealing with cash. They are dealing with digital. Now, this goes down to part of what the MOTB, right? No, she also mentioned, and the House and Senate together refused to pass any reauthorization of FISA 702 that requires the federal government to get a warrant from a federal judge before they use their super duper spy tools to spy on you. Right? Going on here, it's a Trump who we all fought for and supported, and who was supposed to be the one to drain the swamp and destroy the deep state and end the foreign wars, actually is the one demanding a clean reauthorization of warrantless surveillance capabilities. And the vast majority of the Republican-controlled House and Senate refuses to pass warrant requirements for American citizens on FISA 702, and refuses to pass a bill banning a central bank digital currency. No, why they're not going to do that? Because again, this is the next thing coming in, or it's already here, right? So they're not going to put a ban, but it goes to show that, just like that, for instance, if you're not actually taking in what's happening, watch what they're doing. Certain things that are passing, it may look simple, but it have a deeper thing to it. Just like if you're reading at 702, you might say that's small, but it actually goes deeper, right? I also want to bring right. So you see digital currency, Canada, right? Digital currency there, right? They see the CBDCs. They're talking about the CBDCs. Although they're saying in some of these that they want to pass, no, they're passing the bills that it's going to happen, right? Now this is going on that part. We know the part that they headed on to, the part of what? The MOTB, right? So this person, I don't want to say I told you so on this one. However, I told you so. First, Universal Basic Income, the UBIs, will bankrupt Canada by design, and is how Kanye will justify taking International Monetary Fund, right? Second, the shift to central bank digital currency, CBDC, and that is what they're doing. And hey, that is the trickery of ESO. They may make things look like, we go and bet that. Hey, I remind me of a script there, Hey, I'm gonna go to the book of Sirach chapter 14, and I will just go straight to the point. It say, and if he do it good, he do it unwillingly. Sirach 14 verse 7. And if he do it good, he do it unwillingly, and at the last he will declare his wickedness. So it's not really to help. At the last he will declare of why he wanted to do these things, is a reason why he wanted these laws passed, right? So whereas when they mention the law, it may look like, hey, this is the reason why, but deep down, you see where it reached to digital currency, right? It starts with just warrants for certain things they're saying online, but now it reached to the part where you couldn't even mention about the digital currency, right? So it say, and it's how Kanye will justify taking International Monetary Fund. Second, the shift to central bank digital currency, CBDC, will be completed very soon after the UBI IMF loans, right? And let's just read some of this here. I say the bill S206 is an act to develop a national framework for a guaranteed livable basic income, and that is what the UBIs. But for example, for you to get a UBI and to know it reaching to you, if they ain't dealing with credit cards or bank cards or whatever it may be is what? The chip. The chip. And eventually, hey, that gonna be a big I told you so. Right? So it's to provide all persons over the age of 17 in Canada with access to a guaranteed livable basic income. Right? It also provides for reporting requirements with respect to framework. The Bank of Canada will administer the framework and supervise stablecoin issuers, right? And hey, the other song, you read a true spirit, the song shake it here, and you don't know what part it leading on to, the MOTB, right? UK Central Bank Bitcoin digital currency could be used to check ages and nationalities, but hey, Tucker Carlson, I remember doing a video on this. It's a programmable digital currency is the final piece of the global control grid that finally snapping into place. And this was uploaded February 2027. It's a hub, and at the minute 728, he mentioned how biometrics will be used to control you. And that is going into what? The RFID. Now let me go to the book of Revelation, chapter 13. And let me read verse 16. I say, and he caused all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. How biometrics will be used to control you? Simple, right? Why banks don't want you to use cash? Because the system is coming. Right, this thing is coming. This mark is coming. It's on its way. No, it's already here, but it's soon going to be mandatory. Soon, as it say here, and that no man might buy or sell. You need to have this mark, right, to buy or sell. And we know it's that mark. It's not talking about something in a mine or the laws or John 3:16. This is going into what? Something that you need to show that here we're going on. I have this. I could buy food. The RFID chip. Right? That is why when you read these things, biometrics, why banks only used to use cash. How could you go to get money from the bank? Right? Or collect UBIs if it's something in your mind. If it's John 3:16, you see, it don't make sense. That's why we say, hey, wow. You see, and that no man might buy or sell, say if he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So you wouldn't be able to, as Klaus Schwab said, if you don't have what's coming, you'll become an outcast to society because you wouldn't be able to function in their society. So you need to have whatever it is they bring in to be in that society, right? So it goes to show, hey, the end is being made manifest. We see these prophecies playing out, and every single day there's things coming out, right? To always be on the watch. So with that, once again, I give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Kakadash. We say double and apostle, I lots of great Musa and Aruba, our teachers, our apostles in the truth. And we see salutation, so the Akim said, push within our truth and sincerity. Day in and day out, when constantly in season or season, we say, Shalom.